Welcome back to the program. Now, an agricultural economist at the University of Agriculture in Abeokuta, Professor Adebola Okuneye, joins us now to talk about the UN's warning about a famine in South Sudan and Nigeria, Somalia, and Yemen. Thank you for joining us on the program, Professor Okuneye.
Thank you very much. Good day.
Good day to you too. So the UN has been warning repeatedly that there is a threat of famine in northeast Nigeria. How serious is this threat?
Well, the Boko Haram incidents that have been going on for several years now had made the people, particularly farmers, to be displaced, and therefore they were not able to cultivate their various farms as well as rear their livestock. If you look at the northeast region, it's about 25-30% of total land of Nigeria. And therefore, there are being serious concern about this. But over the years, we found out that even though prices of some food items had increased, they've not really increased so rapidly to say that there will be famine. Even if there could be some scarcity in that area, the other areas had really been able to produce, to really cushion the real adverse effects. And therefore, I don't foresee that the problems in the northeast region of this country can cause famine nationwide. But nevertheless, we need to give credit to the federal government for the resettlement of the people that are going on there. And given the fact that Nigerian farmers are very resilient, and if properly encouraged, they can easily go back to their farming activity, then the Boko Haram incidents will not really be a major factor to cause famine. But there's need for other things to be done by the federal government in order to remove the fear of famine in the country. Such could be in the area of practicing climate-smart agriculture because of the various effects of climate changes going on in many countries, particularly Nigeria. And so, if climate-smart agriculture is practiced, then there will be a reduced effect of the Boko Haram incident. Similarly, if women can be easily assisted, because women in Nigeria are responsible for about 60-65% of the labor on farms in Nigeria. And so if women can really be assisted in terms of capacity building and in terms of empowerment, then the assumed effect will not really be there. And so there won't be any famine in the country. I must say that whatever happens in a particular region could affect other parts of the country. But given the resilience of Nigerians, particularly the farmers, such impact will not really be much if research and development can be intensified, if greater level of capital budget can be given to agriculture, and if forex problems, because we are talking of the various external inputs in agriculture, such as the chemicals, such as tractors, and therefore the forex problem can really impact negatively on Nigerian agriculture if this can be solved. And particularly so, the herdsmen that are troubling so many farmers here and there. We need to solve that problem. And if this can be done, then the issue of famine in this country can really be overlooked, as there won't be any famine in this country.
Professor Okuneye, thank you so much. Well, you've said so much about including even proffering solutions, but what about outside Nigeria? I mean, Nigeria is not the only country that the United Nations mentioned in this warning. And then we also have South Sudan declaring a famine already, and we have the droughts in Kenya, and the El Nino weather phenomenon is also causing concern on the African continent. But is Africa as a whole at risk of a food crisis? And what do you think can be done, apart from some of the solutions you proffered to what can be done in Nigeria? But what about Africa as a whole?
Well, in the case of Africa, you find out that Nigeria is more or less a macrocosm of what's happening in Africa. In many of these countries, they don't really concentrate so much on agriculture. I sympathize with Kenya. They have been doing much, but they need to intensify assisting these rural populace. They need to encourage the young ones to go into farming. They need to ensure that there is a value chain approach in their programs, so that the farmers will not just produce without processing. And if you, of course, the fact has shown that about 40% of what you produce are wasted due to lack of storage and poor transportation. So if in Africa we can intensify this, to make sure that we have high level of technology, that we ensure that we have greater level of the various food products getting to the processors, getting to the marketers, and therefore landing on our table, then Africa will not really face the problem of famine. In Sudan, that you mentioned, you find out that in so many areas, people fight themselves here and there, communal fights, ethnic fights, religious fights. All those could be solved if they are properly engaged. It's just like if you go to a school and you find out that the staff are not doing well, engage them positively well. So if these farmers are encouraged and the resources are put before them, they will ensure that the results will be far better, as the profits will be more to them than either that we have now.
Professor Adebola Okuneye, agricultural economist at the University of Agriculture, thank you so much for your time. A Red Crescent spokesman says the bodies of 74 migrants have been found washed up on a beach near the western Libya city of Zawiya. Mohammed Al-Misrati says the bodies had been recovered on Monday and that the migrants appeared to have died during the past 2 days. The migrants were all adults, mostly from sub-Saharan African countries, and all but 3 were men. Libya is the main departure point for migrants hoping to reach Europe by sea, and the bodies of those who drowned attempting the risky crossing are frequently found washed up on Libyan shores. And as the world's oldest ruler, Zimbabwe's President Robert Mugabe celebrates his 93rd birthday today, the European Union has voted to extend economic sanctions against him. The measures restrict travel, freeze assets, and prohibit military trade between EU member states and President Mugabe, his wife, and the defense industry. However, the EU Council voted yesterday to partially lift its arms embargo. It will now allow exports of explosives that are used in civilian mining and infrastructure development. Meanwhile, President Mugabe has called on black people to stop thinking of working for European investors and to focus on becoming masters of their own economy. In an interview with the state media to mark his 93rd birthday, Mr. Mugabe says his government has achieved its objective to increase land ownership among black people following independence in 1980. But critics say his policies have ruined the economy and that a corrupt ruling elite has benefited the most from his land reform program. Zimbabwe does not have its own currency and introduced bond notes last year, but because of a shortage of dollars, but the main currency people use in the country. And that's it on today's program. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I am BC Adebayo.